Hey everyone, ready to dive into something amazing, your own brain. We're going to be unpacking some awesome work by Dr. Tara Swart.
Yeah, she's a neuroscientist, but she makes it make sense, like practical stuff.
Totally. So get this, stress, not just a feeling, it can be like contagious.
It's true. When we're stressed out, our bodies, they release cortisol, and get this, it can actually be detected in sweat.
Hold on, so if I'm with someone who's super stressed, their cortisol can get to me.
Basically, our bodies pick up on those signals chemically. It's kind of like how, some women who live together, their cycles can sync up, pheromones and all that. It's similar, but with stress hormones.
So that tense feeling in a room, maybe not just in your head.
Exactly. And think about it, like at work, stressed out boss, their anxiety, it trickles down to everyone.
Chain reaction of stress. Makes you think about those offices where it's just like, fuck, tense. What can you even do?
Well, first step is knowing, right? Now you know about this whole thing, you can be more aware.
So heading into a crazy meeting, take a minute to breathe first.
Exactly. And Dr. Swart, she's big on exercise, helps your body process that stress, those hormones, literally sweating the cortisol out.
That makes a lot of sense. She also talks about stress and, get this, belly fat. That stubborn kind. Is there really a connection?
There is high cortisol. It can mean more fat storage, especially around the middle. So it's not just calories, it's like our stress levels too.
Whoa, game changer. Our minds and bodies so connected.
For sure. Got to find healthy ways to deal with stress for everything.
Speaking of healthy, let's talk sleep. Dr. Swart, she is all about those Z's.
Big time. And not just for rest. Have you heard of the glymphatic system?
The what now?
Sounds intense, right? But it's your brain's cleaning system. While you sleep, it's like flushing out toxins and stuff that builds up during the day.
Like a brain cleaning crew working the night shift.
It is. And get this, Dr. Swart says it works best when we sleep on our sides.
Wait, what? Side sleeping? Good for the brain detox.
Great. She even says, if you don't naturally sleep on your side, maybe get a special pillow. All about that brain cleaning.
Sold. Side sleeper from now on.
Okay, but what about co-sleeping? Good, bad. Dr. Swart has some thoughts on that too.
Yeah, everyone's different, but studies show that co-sleeping with a partner can actually be good for your brain and your relationship.
Really? I feel like I always hear mixed things about that. So think about it. Cuddling releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Okay, makes sense for the relationship part. What about my brain, though?
Well, oxytocin can boost resilience, makes us better at handling stress.
Wow, so cuddling up at night makes us tougher.
Yeah.
That's wild. Is there, proof?
There is. Dr. Swart, she actually wore one of those heart rate monitors, the HRV ones, to bed. It showed her resilience spiked after a goodnight kiss from her husband, even if she didn't fully wake up.
That's incredible. Little moments can make a big difference, huh?
Totally. And those moments often start with something we all have, intuition. Dr. Swart says it's not magic, it's like stored wisdom, not just in our brains, but even in our gut. Like gut neurons.
Our gut has, brain cells. So gut feeling is legit.
It is. Think of it as all your experiences, even the ones you don't remember, coming together. Your nervous system picks up on things, gives you those little cues.
So how do we, trust those cues more? I always overthink it.
So common. Dr. Swart says try new things, trust those feelings more, even if they seem weird at first. Listen to yourself, even if it doesn't totally make sense yet.
Quiet the inner critic. Trust
Yeah.
that inner wisdom, right? And speaking of inner wisdom, Dr. Swart talks about the spiritual crisis. Lots of people are feeling post-pandemic. Heavy stuff, but important.
Definitely. Pandemic, so much uncertainty, loss. It makes sense. People are still processing it.
So what's the answer? How do we deal with it?
Dr. Swart says we need purpose, belonging. We got to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
What does that even look like, though?
It can be simple. Volunteer, spend time in nature. Maybe try something creative.
I love that. Find those small ways to connect, to contribute.
Yeah. And the coolest part, doing those things, our brains actually release feel-good hormones. Fights stress, makes us feel connected.
It's good for everything. Connecting to something bigger, it makes you think about all the potential inside us too. And speaking of potential, let's talk neuroplasticity.
Oh, yeah. Neuroplasticity. It's one of the coolest things about our brains. So hopeful.
Right. Our brains aren't set in stone. They change and adapt all the time.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Your brain's like a forest. You learn something new. You're making a path through that forest.
I love that. So use that path more. It gets easier to walk that way, right? For our brains.
Exactly. And it's not just like memorizing stuff, it's like bigger stuff too. Skills, even our emotions can change.
So public speaking, for example, if I've always been terrified, I don't have to stay that way.
Right. Your brain's adaptable, it wants to learn. Dr. Swart talks about learning languages, hard at first, but it makes your brain so much stronger.
Like a brain workout, mental exercise.
Totally. And the benefits, they go beyond just that one thing you're learning. Memory, focus, even creativity.
So new language, playing music, even brain teasers, they all help.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What else can we do for this whole neuroplasticity thing?
Well, Dr. Sport, she's big on novelty. Our brains, they love new stuff, challenges, so shake things up.
Love it. Break the routine, try a new place, anything to get off autopilot.
Yes, and don't be afraid to try things that scare you a little. Challenges make our brains grow.
Makes you think about being a kid, right? Everything was new and exciting.
Exactly. We gotta tap back into that. Okay, ready for a crazy example of neuroplasticity?
Hit me.
Dr. Swart, she talks about this study with weightlifters. One group, they actually lifted weights. The other group, they just imagined it.
Wait, they just sat there picturing lifting weights.
Yeah. And get this, the visualization group, their muscles grew too. Not as much, obviously, but still.
No way. Our thoughts, they can change our bodies?
Yeah.
That's wild. Makes you think about manifestation and all that, which has always seemed kind of,
Ooh,
yeah. But maybe there's something to it.
for sure. Dr. Swart actually talks about this in a very, science-based way.
So how does manifestation work then? Like brain-wise?
It's not just wishing, right? It's about our thoughts and our actions lining up with what we want.
So I can't just, think about a clean house.
Exactly. You got to actually clean, too. It's about embodying the thing you want, not just thinking about it.
So if I want to be more organized, it's
Mhm.
not enough to just dream about it.
Right. You got to actually become that organized person, make choices that support that.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Actions and thoughts both matter.
Yeah. And you know what's a really powerful tool for this whole thing?
What's that?
Our language.
You mean like the words we use?
Yep. Dr. Smart, she says, even small changes in our words can make a big difference in how we think, how we feel, everything.
Give me an example.
So let's say you're trying to eat healthy. Yeah. Instead of saying, "Ugh, I can't eat that," which just makes you want it more, right? Try saying, I'm choosing to eat this other thing. Oh, interesting. So it's like you're choosing from a place of what you do want, not what you're not allowed to have.
Exactly. And it's not just out loud, it's that voice inside our heads, too. Oh, that inner critic. Always telling us we're not good enough.
That one. Dr. Swart says, notice those thoughts and choose different words. Instead of, I'm so stressed, try, this is challenging, but I got this.
It's like training your brain to be more positive.
Totally. Okay, before we move on, we gotta talk neurodiversity. Big topic lately.
Yes. I'm so curious to hear Dr. Swart's take on all this.
It's important, and she brings that same, smarts and compassion to it.
So neurodiversity, what does that even mean, really?
It's like brains are different, and that's okay. Not normal and not normal, just we all have strengths and things we struggle with.
So instead of trying to make everyone the same, it's like appreciate the differences.
Exactly. And Dr. Swart, she actually thinks all the ADHD and autism diagnoses, it's a good thing in a way.
How so?
We're getting better at seeing it, understanding it,
Instead of something's wrong, it's, oh, this is how your brain works. Cool.
Yeah. And then we can help people more, create environments where everyone can thrive. It's about that value everyone brings.
I love that. Okay, before we wrap up this whole brain journey, I want to go back to something you mentioned, the spiritual revolution. What is that exactly?
So it's like a shift, less focus on just stuff, more about connecting to ourselves, each other, something bigger.
Like we're all part of something bigger than ourselves?
Yeah. And she thinks it's already happening. People want meaning, purpose. They want to connect.
So what can we actually do to be part of that?
Well, she talks about those old traditions, nature, meditation, mindfulness.
Those are getting popular again?
They are. We're remembering something about being human,
Totally.
And Dr. Swart thinks those things, they can help us handle life better, make it more meaningful too.
Okay, one last thing before we go. That first step to start changing our brains, the one Dr. Swart recommends, what was it in?
Oh, it's so simple. Spend 5 minutes a day just visualizing what you want. It's already true.
So if I want to be more organized, picture my dream house clean and tidy and really feel good about it.
Exactly. And feel grateful for it, even though it's not real yet, you know?
So it's about feeling like you already have it, not wishing for it.
Yes. That energy shift. It helps make it happen.
Powerful stuff. It's not about waiting to be happy, it's choosing to be happy now.
Yes. And it all starts with that tiny action. 5 minutes can change everything.
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
Our brains are incredible.
They are. And we're just scratching the surface, right?
Right. And never too late to start changing.
Never. Every thought, every choice, it's all shaping our brains and our lives.
I love it. Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We've learned so much.
Yes. Keep learning, keep exploring, and remember, you have the power to create the life you want.